She had been ill and confined to bed for the last few years. Although he usually came alone, this day was different. A young girl stood by his side. She looked around Matthias's age, 7, perhaps 8. She was clinging to the hem of Henning's garments, and she looked scared. At the same time, she seemed entranced by the flamboyant build of the courtyard filled with greenery. This had been their first meeting. At the time, Rita had worn her blonde hair down below her shoulders. Henning noticed Matthias and smiled and called out a greeting. He would have been around 25 at the time. Somehow he had the air of an artist about him. Matthias returned the greeting.
Good day.
He was following his father's teaching. Members of the Kramer family must never forget their courtesy, even with the laboring classes. This is my daughter. Henning glanced warmly down at the girl to his side. Your father was kind enough to suggest I bring her. The girl remained half hidden behind her father, and he prodded her gently forwards. Now, Rita, what do you say? The girl opened her mouth but couldn't manage any words. Her face grew increasingly flushed until, finally, her eyes fell to the ground, and she again sought refuge behind her father's back. A little shy, this one. Think you could be friends?
Yes, of course.
Matthias supplied another perfect answer. He turned to face the girl, to face Rita.
My name is Matthias. It's nice to meet you.
Hello?
The girl just about managed a response.
Very well done,
thought the young Matthias. He'd heard that some of the laboring classes lacked even the concept of greetings. He couldn't say the girl was gracious, not by any standard, but she was at least making an attempt to be friendly. A couple of seconds later, the girl added,
Rita.
A little flustered. It took Matthias a moment to recall that this was in fact her name. Perhaps she'd realized that, as he'd introduced himself, she needed to as well. He felt more and more taken by the girl. I should see your father first, Henning said, lifting his eyes to the second floor. Then it's your mother's checkup. Would you mind keeping Rita company for a while? Henning's eyes flicked back to his daughter.
Of course. I can give her the tour.
It was a phrase his father often used. Let me give you the tour. Henning's smile broadened. Impressive. Very becoming of the heir to a merchant association. Rita, make sure to pay attention to what Matthias shows you. The girl looked apprehensive, but gave her father a sharp nod regardless. At that point, the outline of the world began to lose cohesion. Matthias found himself coming close to calling out Rita's name. The remembered scene receded, to be replaced by another. As before, they were in the courtyard of the Kramer mansion. Matthias and Rita were mostly unchanged, but there had been a shift in mood between them. Rita had already made a number of visits. While still a little differential, she had become for the most part able to converse without hesitation.
It's this way, in the corner.
Matthias crossed to the edge of the courtyard, but only after a careful scan of the surrounding cloisters. An afternoon sun inundated them. Apart from the two of them, the mansion was empty. Matthias's father and his retinue of servants were away. Matthias crouched next to the roots of a tree and used his hand to clear some of the dirt. As he did, a metal handle came into view.
Watch this.
He hooked his fingers around it. With both feet planted firmly in the ground, he tipped his weight backwards. A square line appeared, rising slowly as an iron cover. The dirt and sand piled on top just trickled away. Rita stared in blank amazement.
Matthias, what?
Just a second. I have to be careful so it doesn't fall.
Keeping hold of the handle, Matthias circled around and rotated the cover a half circle before letting it gently down on the far side. Where the cover had been was a gaping hole a meter long and wide. A brick staircase led downwards.
Come on then. There's treasure I want to show you.
But are we allowed? Without permission?
No, not really. I suppose Father would be mad if he found out. He doesn't know that I know.
Well, maybe we shouldn't.
Rita fidgeted with her hands and looked warily around.
I'll deal with him if he finds out.